it's Mia. Welcome to my Q&A after my study abroad experience in London. My dog is here, and I've got some questions. I put out a request for questions on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you're not following me there, the links are down below. And only 4 people responded, so I'm working with what I got. Shout out to Jackie, Aunt Kathy, Alyssa, and Lily. Y'all the real MVPs. So I was able to fit all these questions on my board. So the first question, did your day-to-day routine change from usual college life when you were abroad? If so, how? It did. It was a lot more relaxed and intense at the same time. For the most part, I was able to set my own sleep schedule, which involved going to bed at 2 a.m. and waking up at like 10 most days, but then like staying in bed and casually getting ready and not leaving the flat until like 1 p.m. But like everything was within half an hour, so I was able to get a lot done in one day. The program I was with under my university required us to go to different museums, galleries, and historical sites throughout London, but we were able to do our reports from anywhere in Great Britain, which involved our study trips to Scotland and Northern Ireland. So I was able to set my own schedule and do that as opposed to going to scheduled courses and work shifts. I did do a job / internship while I was abroad, but that was really just when I had time, which was really just like 2 hours a month because I was, out all day doing these required visits, and then I'd come home exhausted. So yeah, it was like a casual day-to-day routine, and no day was the same as the last. So that's different than college life, when I do have like a set schedule. What was your most memorable moment? I love you. I remember most of my trip, which is a good thing because I'm a young adult and it just happened, and I was there for all of it and also filmed most of it. But I feel like the memories I can look back on are mostly the people I talk to. Part of our contact points for British life was talking to people, and there was only there were a couple that I did like just on the street, or I sat with a woman for an hour eating lunch on a park bench and we talked about our lives. But I met a lot of people when I was seeing theater. I saw a lot of shows while I was there, and if I was sitting next to someone, I'd be like, "Yeah, what's up?" Or they'd start a conversation first. Or one couple I met and talked to was on the bus ride back to my flat. We sat like across the aisle, and I noticed that they had bought a program. So I was like, "Oh, did you like War Horse?" And she was like, "Yeah, we loved it. Did you see War Horse?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we talked about it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. What was left unseen? There were a couple places that I wanted to go to that I didn't end up visiting. There's this bookstore that I wanted to go to and I just forgot about it. And there were towns or museums or whatever that I wanted to go to, thought about going to, and then thought about you know, how much time it would take to travel there and back, how much time I had in a day, how many days I had free, how much money it was going to cost me, how much money I didn't have. And I just didn't end up able to go, or making the extreme effort it would cost to go to those places. I wanted to go to Liverpool. I wanted to go to this cafe that's in a song that I like. I thought about going to the Harry Potter studio tour. I thought that would be fun, but I didn't have a great way to get there, and it was like 40 pounds. And I meant to go back to Fortnum's, and I didn't. Will you return? Yes. Yes, I will. One place to visit. The full question was if I could recommend or suggest one place to visit, what would it be? First of all, I would say it depends on what you're interested in, because like I'm a huge literary nerd, so I'm like the Charles Dickens Museum, which actually wasn't as good as the tour we went on. Or the British Library, which like if you don't care, don't go. Or like my favorite place was Stratford-upon-Avon, and no one really likes it because there isn't much to do, but like I just like being in the vibe, you know. I would actually say the Museum of London, because I feel like you get a good feel for what it's like to go through London's history there, because they do go from like before Londinium with the Roman settlement to today, and I thought it was really interesting. Yeah. The biggest what is that? The biggest difference between that country and home. So England versus the United States. I feel like there's a lot more opportunity there. Not necessarily like, you know, the American dream working opportunity, which like, you know, current administration is. Right, Charlie? It's not good right now. But you're a good boy. But like, they feel more open to connecting the public with the arts and politics. I feel like even though a lot of people are confused by Brexit, they were a lot more transparent about what was going on. Like, there were a lot of explanations in the newspapers and a lot of talk about it. There were lectures that were open to the public. And a lot of their museums are free, which is really helpful and interesting, and we don't have that here. Like, it was so frustrating coming home and realizing I wasn't just going to be able to go wherever I wanted and not have to drop $50. Because, like, even when you did have to pay for a museum, like, our museums are what, you know, like the Natural History Museum in Chicago is like, what, $30 to get in? I don't know. I haven't been there in like 2 years. And we went on a free day, so. But, like, the government-owned museums are free, and then other museums are like £6, so that's like $10. It's so affordable. Like, it's access to public education. It's connection to art and history. I feel like they're way more open about that than we are. What will you miss most? Being able to go wherever I want, whenever I want. The transportation was so easy over there, and I don't trust CTA, to be honest. Those buses are awful. Like, the train's okay, but the L's weird. There's so many weird people on the L. Like, the underground system is not only easy, but like, I never saw anyone that was super weird there. I sat next to, like, in the middle of two guys, or like I sat down and then two guys sat separately either side of me, and both of them picked their nose, but it was like the weirdest thing that ever happened to me on the underground. Whereas my mom used to take the L to go to work downtown, and one day she just saw a man in a gorilla suit just sitting there. Like, what is that? How has this experience changed or impacted your world vision? I feel like I pay more attention to global politics now. And I definitely understand Brexit better. Because, like, I went to a lecture on it. We had a required lecture on it. I read an article about it. It's everywhere, pretty much. Like, people will explain it to you. So, I don't know. I feel like I have a better sense for the people, maybe. Stereotypes and such. I don't know. Do I feel like a different person? No. So that, I think, kind of plays into whether or not my world vision has changed. I felt like I was always really kind of open to the world. I'm not xenophobic like somebody in a White House. Did you notice any difference between British and American theater? Please talk about Warhorse. Yes. British theater is typically better and more accessible. It's a lot cheaper. There's more of it. I was also really near Leicester Square, so it was like the West End. I saw a lot of theater. I saw Hamilton, which wasn't as good as the Chicago Company, but I'm gonna make a video on it, and it's to be expected. So, like, British theater is fantastic. I purposefully avoided American shows, except for Hamilton. But Warhorse was so good. There's also an opportunity there to, like, see a lot of big names really easily. I saw Ralph Fiennes. I saw Eileen Atkins. I saw Jonathan Pryce. I don't even remember who else, but, like, I saw Voldemort, guys, in Shakespeare. But, like, Warhorse. So the journey of me seeing Warhorse was that one of my requirements was to see and go participate as an audience member in a BBC production, either radio or TV. So what you can do is you can go to the BBC live shows tour thing website, and you can apply to be randomly selected to be an audience member. I did this with nearly every show available between September and December 1st. September 1st and December 1st. Like, not really, I don't remember when I started doing that, but it was like in September. And I was denied for every single one. Like, I got that email like, sorry, Chicken, like, you didn't make it. So I had to email the guy who grades us and say, listen, I don't know what to do anymore. And he was like, try another studio. And I was like, okay. So I did. And they just never emailed me. And I was like, hey, great, thank you. And so I emailed him back, and he was like, all right, find out like a director's talk or something at a theater. And I was like, well, okay. And he sent me a link to National Theater events. One of these events, the closest one to a director's talk, was How the Puppets Work by the Puppet Master in Warhorse. These puppets are so interesting, first of all. They're made from like all natural resources by a South African couple. I don't know if they're like romantically involved, but like the partnership. And they make these puppets that like have accurate joints. Like, they move very naturally. They move absolutely realistically. Like, where the sticks are on a puppet is where their tendons would be, so like they can move like they should. And the guy who wanted to adapt War Horse the book, saw a play where puppets had been made by these people, but it was a giraffe, and it was called Tall Horse. And he was like, guys, let's make a horse. And so they're like, okay. And so they made these horses. There's two. There's Top Thorn and Joey. Joey is the main character, and War Horse is told from Joey's perspective. So, like, everybody's like, how are you gonna make a play where the main character and narrator is a frickin' horse? And he was like, watch me. And I did, and it was very well done. So War Horse, it was the 10th anniversary or something, I don't know, and it was there for the centennial of World War I, during which this takes place, I think. Yeah, right? Yeah. And so... Oh, do you like my sweater, by the way? I got it at the Transport Museum. Also recommend. Anyway, so the puppetry, they had the 2 horse full body puppets operated by 3 puppeteers, head, heart, and hind, and the head is the only one on the outside, and so like technically it's like an 8-legged horse with just like this guy leading it around. But you really don't pay attention to them. Like, once you get into the play, like the first 5 minutes, you're like, why are these guys there? I saw the talk in the stalls, so I could like see this 8-legged horse, and I'm like, and then I was in the circle for the show. Like, immediately after this talk, I was like, I gotta see the show. So I did. Next day, got the tickets. Are you asleep? My dog snores, by the way. So for this show, I do recommend seeing it from the circle, because like you're looking down on it, you don't see the people's legs as much, and the proportions look more correct. I used to ride horses, so I'm like, I was the horse girl. I'm so sorry. You know this if you've listened to my podcast. Anyway, so there's Joey, there's Top Thorn, there's like partial horse puppets just for like ambiance at one point, because they do the charge. And then there's the goose, which apparently steals the show. I didn't really care about the goose, to be quite honest. But the story is like so lovely, you cry. And the puppetry is so amazing. It's like they have a real horse on stage. Like, there's some battered horses where like the fabric or whatever, the skin, fur, whatever is made out of is like ripped, and so that looks kind of weird as a horse, but it's like, it's so magical, that experience of watching this puppetry. I don't care about puppets. I care about these puppets because they're just so good. Highly recommend it if you can see it anywhere ever, and it's just wow. Yeah, so immediately after the show, I bought the book because I was like, I need more. I need more of it. Yeah. Good theater. Highly recommend. Thank you everybody for watching, and shout out again, thank you so much to my family and friends who asked me questions so I could make this video. I had a great time with my dog sleeping in the background. If you liked this video, please leave a like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload a new video, because I don't really have a schedule right now. What? Oh, but I will. And I do plan on making more study abroad videos in follow-up. I really don't want to be that person that's like, when I was on study abroad, because I think it's so pretentious and it's so annoying and nobody likes those people. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the comments. Let me know if you have any other questions I can answer for you, either about my study abroad specifically or about studying abroad in general. What other videos can I make for you? What comments do you have in response to these questions and my answers? Thank you so much. Goodbye. I love you. You're a good boy.